just broke.
Oh
Oh, you were trying to put it on?
Yeah.
What the chain?
Yeah, I might be able to put it back in. That's really fucking annoying.
Fun fact, I used to be a little jeweler.
Really? I could see college. Was it college time?
No, this was like the start of my entrepreneurial days.
Really?
I made soaps and jewelry.
Oh my god. I thought hold on. I thought you said a jeweler as in vaping.
No.
Like the jewel.
Why did that go through the first thing in your mind?
I have no idea, but then I was
talking
like,
about
oh, like
jewelry
I could
and,
see
like-
you doing that in college, and then you're like, is the start of my entrepreneurship journey. Just a few years ago.
Fun fact, I've never smoked a cigarette or puffed a jewel.
Wow, I've
Me,
never
I've never
puffed
smoked
a
a
jewel. I've
Yeah.
only smoked 3 puffs of a cigarette in my life. Do you not have the desire to like try things?
There's some things I just don't care to try because I'm just like too scared of what they like
Yeah,
are gonna do.
I feel that.
Mostly,
I mean,
I'm honestly just so scared. It's not even like, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I would be like fine trying like cocaine or something, but
just the most
everything
intense
is
option.
like everything is like so potential to like go really bad. Like it could be laced with fentanyl. It could be like laced with something even worse. And so,
Speaking of fentanyl, I could tell you guys a story on Patreon that happened.
oh no.
Subscribe to our Patreon. Continue.
I'm just like terrified though because there's just so many like unknowns with everything. There's no way to like test purity and
Yeah, it's so scary.
all of that.
I hate that. We just had someone, I forget who it was, honestly, tell us about taking shrooms, like really microdosing for anxiety and like doing it every day and how much it's helped them and like for focus too and ADHD and stuff. And that's even just so scary to me, like the thought of microdosing it still.
That does not scare me as much, weirdly. But that's because I think there's been so much like more knowledge brought to the surface of like all the benefits. Like there's so many drugs where like it alters your like brain.
Yeah.
Like in the shape of it and everything. So that's like what really scares me. Like that thing where the dare stuff. Like,
literally.
That shit works on me.
No, it's so true.
Yeah, I like traumatizing stories of like the kids who died because they did ecstasy one time or whatever.
I know. Yeah, it really did work. I always ask my parents, like, how did you make all of us, like none of my siblings, like, did drugs in high school? Or, like, I was the earliest to drink, probably, but that was still not till senior year.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know what they did.
Well, I also feel like there's, like, a respect for your parents. And you want, also, like, you want to impress your parents. Like, you want them to be proud of you. I think that's why I didn't do it. Like, I had a mutual respect and I was afraid also, but I was afraid of like what my parents would think of me if I did something stupid.
The disappointment always hit me harder than like punishment.
Yeah. Whereas when you don't have a good relationship with your parents or you don't care about that relationship, then you're like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, let's go.
Yeah, that's so true because there's no
bad
repercussions really.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like you guys have to listen to this episode on the autism, ADHD, and anxiety.
What is it and where is it located? It looked like a seminar.
I know.
She sent us the screenshot.
It is a very like he's a doctor and he like wrote the book I like love and
is it a video or is it a podcast?
I think there is actually a video component. It's just a podcast episode. Okay. But he has a lot of really good people on. But it's just like so interesting. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because like they talked about one of the things is called ODD. It's like opposition, like you know what I'm talking
disorder.
Yes, opposition defiance disorder. And I was like, wow, I didn't even like think about that. I was like, did I have like a fraction?
What is that like? You have to do whatever the opposite you're being told or something.
You're just very like. If someone tells you to do something, you're like, no, and you like act out in a lot of those things. But it was just like so interesting because I feel like there's probably a lot of kids that maybe have that and then they're like not respecting their parents.
I definitely used to do that all the time of like if my mom told me to clean my room, like I didn't want to start cleaning immediately. I wanted to like wait till later in the day or the next day when it was like my own choice to clean it. Yeah. That would never go well.
My sisters are like that and it pisses me off.
Like so when your parents told you to do something, you just get up like immediately.
No, but I never had that. Well, I guess I do have those situations where it's like, yeah, I would have done it if you didn't tell me, but now you told me, I don't want to do it. I guess.
I'm like that.
I'm just Joe. Like such a. I'm like a mom now, so I'm like.
He's like, can you clean up? And I'm like, I'll do it later.
Yeah. No, I guess I've lived by myself according to my own rules for so long that I don't think of it. I think of it now of like when I would ask Lexi to do something and she'd get mad because I asked her to do it. You know.
I wonder if when you do have a partner, if like you'll be more like, okay, this is the way that my life is running and everything, that they'll have to more conform to your life. Like I saw this girl saying like, what do you do if you marry someone who folds towels differently than you? And she was like showing the towels, how pissed off she was. That's really very simple things like that.
Yeah, in those situations, I would just either... It'd be like, well, I like how these towels look better. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, you're right. This is a better way. Or if they're doing it a better way, then I'll switch to their way, you know?
Yeah.
But I think I fold towels really cutely. I learned how to fold them at a tanning salon that I worked at. So it's
wow. Like... I think you can use that on your resume. You tell them.
My dating app.
I folded towels.
Fold towels really nicely.
I do not
at Hollister. I knew how to fold clothes.
That should be on your dating resume that you worked at Hollister. I would love that.
That would be funny.
Hollister in high school.
I'm sure there's a lot of people like your age that are probably like in that same boat that like got hired like by the same like way. Yeah, I don't know like as much of like the younger people have like were hired in the same way at Hollister.
It's basically saying like I'm hot and I've been hot since I was in high school.
I peaked in high school.
No. That's so funny. Okay, well, welcome back to another episode of So Glad We're Friends. I'm Maggie.
I'm Devin.
I'm Brittany.
That's so funny. Welcome. That when I sent you the video from my listening to my wedding voicemails that you just didn't know that it was.
Well, because I asked and you're like, we're just trying to cut it down. And I was like, what?
Because I thought you knew that it was the voicemails based on.
No, I thought you were listening to an episode. And editing,
just on our honeymoon.
Like, I thought you were making like a social media post for the podcast or something.
That's so funny. No, I was laughing because in the voice,
and I thought you were just like overlaying that on top of a video of you and Cameron in.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That'd be fucking weird.
So I was like, oh wait, what's going on? Are you making? Yeah.
They said in the voicemail that they left me on the wedding. They did like the intro, but they left like Brittany paused before she said it's Brittany.
Yeah, and so when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, it did sound extremely normal. That's so funny.
I wonder if it was like increased because I was drunk. And I was like,
I'm
probably.
Sure. And we were like yelling too.
You're cute. You were yelling.
Well, it was so loud. Like neither one of us could hear each other, like even speaking. We're standing like next to each other.
I know, it's so funny. I love that though, that you can hear the background music. Like that is so cool about it. I like
so
that
you know
part.
Like at what moment, so you could be like, oh, I remember when this song was playing, I was doing this or whatever.
Yeah, and it's hard to remember like individual songs. Like I keep being like, oh, did that song play? But then hearing those, I was like, oh my god, it did.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Okay, Devin, do you want to introduce the topic? Because I feel like as though I'm going to do a bad job.
Sure. Well, it's 2025 and I just want to talk about our vision for 2025. I don't like the whole resolution thing. Like I think you should have a resolution going into each month. Like this month, I really want to stop doing this or start doing this. Like having a whole year resolution is insane and it never actually works.
Never.
So I just want to talk about like the tangible goals that we have. Like I have a friend who's like, I want to see 150 movies and I want to see 30 movies in the theaters. Like goals like that. Not like I want to start a diet and lose. I guess losing amount of weight is a tangible goal, but just like
Well, I definitely don't have achievable. I have nothing really tangible, so mine are going to be more abstract for you.
Okay, well, yeah, just our vibe, our vision, and
I guess mine's not very tangible either.
I haven't gotten to the tangible component of my goals.
kind of what we talked about in last week's episode. This year I kind of want to have not less tangible, but how you were talking about like not focusing on numbers specifically, or like specific things, more like being happy with what you're putting out and whatnot. So in a sense that's less tangible of like, I don't want this number of followers.
You know,
like more of my vision board where I'm like, I want to redo my bathroom this year, and I want to go on a ski trip, and I want to go to Austin. Like, not just like, I want to
travel,
be happy. Travel. More like specific. Like, okay, then how are you going to do that? You're not just going to travel because you want to.
Yes.
I okay, then I do have more specific things that way. I think
that's what I meant.
There is like
in my head.
Back and forth in myself of like, okay, I don't want to have this big goal, like, but I also want to, because I think that like there's something about measuring like monthly or weekly of like what your bigger things are.
Yeah.
And I am actually quite motivated by that. Like when I see like the numbers in the agency and I'm like looking at those like weekly most of the time, I'm like, oh, like this is like so fucking cool to like kind of just see where we're at, and like starting off the year so strong and all of those things. I'm like, that's really cool to see, and like having those numbers. But sometimes I think there's other areas where I just don't feel as confident in them, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to like look at the numbers there.
Well, you know what I think is a great thing to do for like big, huge goals is to maybe at the start of the year write a whole list of them, but don't set the deadline for the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so every year you can go back to that list and cross things off that you have accomplished and add things that you want to accomplish. So like, let's say you have the goal of working with Canon, the camera brand or something. Like, I'm not necessarily going to do that this year, but maybe in 5 years I'll be able to cross that off my list or whatever.
I like that. I haven't ever thought about it like that.
Because it's kind of like it makes you feel bad when you go and look at your list that you made last year and you're like, well, I didn't reach 1 million followers, or like I didn't get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, but there's something like really special about like kind of setting a bigger goal, because I was like, towards the end of the year, I think there was like, I wanted to secure like 150,000 more deals, and I was like, oh, like how is that going to happen? It's kind of like I didn't think it was possible, and then we like surpassed it, and I was like, this is like really fucking cool that I was like looking at this, analyzing, and be like, okay, we have this much more that we have to hit, and then it happened. I was like, we did that, like, as a whole. And your big goal too, when you were like, hey, I want to hit, like, I want to make more than I made in 2022, and I was like, let's do it. And then
that's just my goal every year, to make more than I made the last year.
Well, it was 2022 revenue, not even like last year.
Yeah, because then after 22 is when I started transitioning my content, and then I just
23
started
was
making
lower.
less. 23 was, I mean, it was still good, it was still great, but it was less. And that was when I was like, oh my god, am I ever gonna work with any lifestyle brands? Only dog brands want to work with me, and only Smile Direct Club pays me. Like,
hey, but they paid you a salary.
They did, but I was like, this is not something that's going to transfer over into the next few years.
But that's so cool now to see all of that you have accomplished.
But every year when you're a content creator is scary. You never know what's gonna happen.
That's what's awesome too, Britt, about like you saying the numbers and stuff like of your agency. It's like, I'm thinking of like big brands or something, like the brand that Cameron works for or something, and how they want a certain amount of growth and like celebrate these certain numbers. And that's like it's a huge level of the firm anyways. But then like you as a person individually have like fully separate, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you have fully separate goals, as you have a whole agency that's also doing extremely well, and like you have all this growth and everything, but then you as an individual person get to be like, oh, I'm also the owner of this.
That is pretty
that's so cool.
And it's just exciting to go through like everyone's goals and stuff, like we're just setting up like all the meetings of like, okay, what do you want to look at for 2025? And starting to hear like those visions or ideas, or like just, I don't know, I think that's really cool. But one thing I think that's hard with New Year's resolutions, I feel like there's a lot of things that are like rooted in negativity or like shame. Like you want to
like
stop
diet
doing something, or you want to
that's
like
harder, and it's not fun.
It's also it's just like if it's either negative or it's shameful, that's like not a way to like
stopping
motivate
drinking.
Yourself.
It's so rude.
And I just don't think that it like actually helps you get results. So I feel like that's one thing that I was like looking at, and like how I was writing things through and like just like jotting down ideas. I was like, none of my stuff was really about like stop doing this. It was more like, let's do this instead, and like going towards something positive and like exciting and motivating.
Yeah, that's like the main thing that helped me with like diet culture and everything is like always addition, never subtraction. Like instead of thinking like I need to be on this diet or whatever, think like I need to add more protein in, I need to add a veggie or whatever. That's like way more helpful.
Yeah. It's more helpful for your brain too. Like I think I've said this before, but in gymnastics when we were on the beam, especially at competitions, we couldn't say don't fall, because if your brain just hears the last word fall, and you're much more likely to fall. So you have to say stick it or hold it, or you know, like
that's
not
really
not the word with the don't in front of it.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's like when you're giving a dog a command, but you're saying the word, then it's like, what? Wow.
True, yeah, your brain is basically a dog.
I know. I was like actually thinking about this because my sister, this is like a whole tangent, but my sister was like telling me like what type of parenting style she wants to do for her kids. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like really similar to dogs. Like you only give them one command.
She's I like, always relate.
Dogs. She's like, well, dogs don't understand English. I was like, neither do babies.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do.
But the thing is, she's like, but babies do understand English coming out of the womb.
Babies can speak it eventually. But
I would like to
everyone has to
know
learn
it more
it,
right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh yeah, that's just like dogs. And she was like, well, no, it's not.
And you know what? I think it's rude when human parents dismiss you because you only have a dog.
I know.
Because I relate a lot of things. I'm like, oh yeah, with my dog, or like, yeah, I felt the same way when I got a puppy, or you know, like that's the only way I can actually relate to you. And I think it's still a valid. I know, so do I. But the reason we feel silly is because the parents are like.
But I do feel validated when like pet parents then have a baby and they're like, when they are still obsessed with their dog and they're like, no, it is kind of similar. Like you are still doing the same things. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Obviously it's more. You're not like
well, yeah, it's that's what scares me the most about kids is like I can't take this decision back.
Oh my god.
And I can't be a bad mom. Like imagine if you decided to have a kid and then you decided you didn't want it anymore. And that happens a lot. That's why parents are horrible fucking parents, and then people grow up without any confidence. And yeah, like
it is so scary because it's not just like 18 years, like it's like your whole life.
Yeah, and like with a dog, I could give it a new home, or I could, I mean, it's not going to live forever, you know, so.
Yeah, it's like, okay, just got to get through this. That's how I felt when I had rats as pets. And I started to really not want to take care of them anymore. When I was in middle school, I was like, okay, I just got to hold on a little bit longer for this last one to die.
Oh my God. That is so funny. My sister, I didn't realize she did this, but she like walked herself to Pet Supplies Plus when she was like 6 or 7 years old and bought rats and was like telling, I don't know how she bought them, but she had to like make up a lie to like the pet store owner.
What?
And then she was like storing them in her room, and like my dad found them and was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Did you have a cage?
Independent.
I don't think so. Because we like didn't have any other animals. I think it was just like a cardboard box.
Oh my God. 6 or 7 is crazy.
I know. It was really ridiculous when she like, because I remember she did like some weird thing like that, but I thought it was like when she was a lot older or something. And it was like when she was like in elementary school, and I was like, holy shit. And it was like a far walk. It was probably like 3 or 4 miles maybe.
Why was she home alone?
I don't know how she's like slipped out. Yeah. Like
she
took my sister on a walk one time without my mom knowing, and like just walked out the front gate, and then my mom was like having a full-blown panic attack, and she's just like walking down the street with my sister.
This sounds like your sister grew up in the 70s, because this is like the shit that my mom would do.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. The one time my brother ever ditched school in high school, he was like walking to go get like a breakfast burrito or something on the side of the road, and my dad literally drove past him.
Oh my God.
Pulled his truck over. Yeah. Like, that's so unfortunate.
That's amazing.
He's like, straight back to school for you.
Oh my god, I'd be like, I'm sick.
Yeah, I'm sick. I'm just walking with my friends because I'm sick. That's so funny.
I wanted to walk home because I didn't feel well.
See, I like to think that with my relationship with my parents, they would be like, I would have texted them or whatever and been like, yeah, I'm leaving school. And they'd be like, okay. As long as, like, my parents gave me they gave me the freedom to be like, I know that I'm good in this class and I don't need to be here today or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
they trusted me.
Absent so much. Literally, like, over a month per year, like over 30 days per year in like elementary school and middle school, especially.
Because you were sick?
But you were actually sick?
I still don't know. Like, I was definitely sick. Like, I had, like,
you think it was from
sickness.
Anxiety?
Probably.
Yeah.
But it would always piss me off, like, when people would be like, you're faking, because I'd be like, no, I'm not faking. But I also had that thing, like I said, where, like, I would feel the need if I missed from Monday to Wednesday. I'd be like, okay, I'm not going back till Monday. Like, I didn't want to go back on a Thursday. So that added a few days. Yeah. Next week.
And your mom was like, it's okay, Maggie.
Yeah. My siblings were like, fuck you. We never got to do this.
That's so funny.
Something else that helped me with goals and resolutions that I did last year was, like, I made a Google Doc and I did it kind of by quarter, and I put in, like, okay, our wedding's happening in August, we're going in this trip in this month, like, added fun things and stuff like that. But then also, like, okay, just in quarter one, I'm really focusing on taking my vitamins and, like, just trying to move my body more, like, not specific things, but, like, I feel like I had a problem of adding too much where it's like, okay, I can't accomplish all whatsoever. So, like, lessening it to a realistic goal.
Yeah. Well, that's, like, my other thing of, like, when I was sat down to, like, start thinking about this, I was, like, really overwhelmed, and I was like, oh, how am I going to do all of these things I want to do? But that's where I was, like, looking at, like, planning better. And, like, one of the things I was thinking through is, like, I need to do a better job of not just, like, planning for, like, the month, but really planning, like, each week and just sitting down and, like, giving myself 30 minutes to, like, okay, I want to go in the, like, I want to cold plunge, like, 4 times this week. Like, when am I going to do that? Like, making sure I have time to journal at least, like, 4 days a week and stuff. Like, so I think there's so much in power in, like, just mapping out some of those things, but not being so, like, don't be, like, so overwhelmed by the sheer number of things you want to accomplish, but more like, how can you kind of plan them into the day?
Because then if you have this list of, like, January through March, I want to accomplish these things, then every month or every week you can go to that list and be like, okay, what can I take out of this list and actually accomplish this week?
Yeah.
And I like the idea of having, like, a shorter period to accomplish a certain goal. Because, like, if you start the month and you give yourself the whole month, you're waiting till the end of the month. Yeah.
I agree. I also think, like, for me, having something visual is so helpful. And I think, like, a vision board is great, but I also think for me, like, writing the specific goals, like, on a piece of paper, like, and putting it on my wall, or, like, just kind of focusing on the different buckets. So then when I'm, like, journaling or I'm, like, planning and stuff, it's, like, right there in front of me, and it's something I'm, like, keeping an eye on, like, all the time.
Yeah. Someone else said to do like a bingo card this year they're doing instead of a vision board.
Wait, that's so fun.
Yeah, because I think it can be fun to, like, gamify things a little bit and, like, have it in front of you as well is helpful.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you can make it cute and, like, color it and stuff.
I like to think I started the bingo card trend, but
I know. I feel like you did. I'll say you did.
I didn't think of doing a whole year. But a whole year overwhelms me. I like by season or by month more.
And I also like the idea that, like, it's still winter and, like, spring is really kind of the actual start of the new year. And I think of the new year as my birthday. I think a lot of people do that as, like, okay, this is the actual next year of my life. And I think with my birthday in January, that's, like, even more so maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because
it feels like, oh, really? Because there's this girl that her birthday is in September, actually. And she, like, always says that she makes her, like, resolutions based on her birthday rather than the new year.
I don't like my birthday. It doesn't exist. So
I really like reflecting on my birthday, but I guess I don't necessarily do like a goal, new goals or anything. The other thing for my year stuff, I like to think about themes. So it's like, what is my theme for this year? What is the word? And
so what is your word?
Right?
Yeah.
My word this year is intention, and like a subword is like planning.
Love that.
You sound like a lot of fun.
I am a lot of fun because I'm gonna plan to have fun.
Plan to have fun.
It's in the schedule.
I love it.
I'm allowed to have fun today.
That's true. You could put sexy time in the calendar.
I know. I tried to. Never. We'll talk about that later.
Patreon, subscribe.
Well, this leads me to my word of the year, which actually is fun.
Your
or
word
joy.
Is fun.
It's between fun and joy, but I keep leaning towards fun. Like,
love it.
When I was making my vision board, I was like, I was really focusing on like girlfriend time and like trips and like even doing hobbies at home and stuff. Like, I want to have fun. I want it to be fun. I want the content I make to be fun. And I was like, that's my word this year. I want to have fun. I want to get a bike and ride it around my neighborhood and like, things like that.
Could you?
I think whenever you're having fun or like you're changing like any of your goals to like just have more fun with it. Like even if you want to, like even if it's like a monetary goal or something, like how can you have more fun with that?
Yeah.
Like,
I want this year to be a fun
that's
year.
like one of my business principles is like I'm gonna have fun in business. Like I'm creating my own business, so like if I'm not having fun, like what the fuck am I doing?
The motto for my dance studio when I was a kid was serious dance, serious fun.
Wow. Love that.
I do like that a lot though.
To
serious
talk about
business,
your
serious fun.
To really get on your manifestations, you should get a record from the band Fun. And just play
What's the band Fun?
What? Like, what's that song that they sing?
Am I supposed to know?
I don't know.
Oh my god! Don't they sing tonight? There's a party on the rooftop, top of the world tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking tonight.
That one? No, you're right. I just knew it started with tonight.
We are young.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so weird that my subconscious, like when you said fun, that song came into my head.
Yeah. Well, that's like their song.
But
can't
I
name
haven't
another.
thought of that in
Carry On. Yeah, I didn't even know they. Yeah. Obviously, I do know this band. I just didn't.
I don't know where they're at now.
Stuck.
They haven't come. Let's see when the last time they came out with anything. 2012 was their last. No, 2014 was a single.
Okay. Oh my god.
Well, it's a great band
That's
name.
Really funny. That was the last time I have had fun. Is 2014 probably. So.
Did you not have fun with us?
That's so fucking funny.
Qualify these past years as fun.
2014
would have done more trips than maybe.
That's hilarious. I would literally agree. Like 2014 was one of my last years of fun.
Yeah, it was.
That's so funny.
In 2014 till 16, I think.
Like dumb fun.
2014
like not like happiness, but like
I was a junior in college. That was
I was a junior in high school. It was a great time. That's when I started drinking.
Wait, we're 4 years apart. Like me and Devin are like basically 4 years apart, and me and you 4 years apart.
What? Aren't you 30?
Yeah,
you're turning 31.
I'm 26.
Don't age me like that.
But
we're like 2 years apart, bitch.
We're 2 years apart.
Were you born in 93?
94.
Okay, we're 2.5 years apart.
Oh,
what? I was born in 91.
I always say we're 8 years apart, even though we're 7 years apart, Devin, unfortunately.
You guys stop aging me like that.
It just makes more sense that way.
My brain.
Yeah, and then my cousin Jaden is 4 years younger than me, so I always think of it as like Jaden, me, Brittany, you.
I've always wanted to be younger. When I graduated high school, I then moved to a different dance studio, and I said that I was younger than I was so that I didn't feel so stupid taking classes.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be older. Like
in bench warmers? You brought the little paper with the crayons. I am 12.
I just had to put my birth date on the thing when I signed up, and I was like, okay.
How did your mom let you?
Yeah.
Well, I was dry. I did it by myself. My dad would write me a check.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were driving. So how old did you say you were?
I would probably say I was 16 or 17 when I was 18, 19.
Oh, okay. So it's only like a couple years off.
I thought you were going to say like 13 when you were 16.
No, because like once you graduate high school, you stop dancing. So there weren't any like 19-year-olds taking classes.
That's so funny.
I love when people still ask for IDs. I'm like, yes, please let me give it to you.
Oh, I know. Same. I still feel like I'm doing something illegal. I'm like, yeah, please check. I scanned it the other day somewhere, and it like had my age pop up like it was a like electronic thing, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before. But that was cool to see. I was like, I'm not 21. Nice.
Huh.
Interesting.
One thing to like think about with fun, Tings had this really good exercise that I think like anyone could do, like pretty simple. It's like happiest moments, happiest where, happiest doing, and happiest with. And
happiest moments, happiest where, meaning like place.
Yeah. Oh, happiest moments are kind of like just moments in time, versus like happiest doing is like maybe you're painting or you're working out or like something like that. And then happiest with is like people.
Love that.
Yeah. And she said to like pick like 5 things throughout the year, but I was like, I'm not going to limit myself. I'm just going to like make a whole list. And I kind of just went through my camera roll. But one of the ones that I was like, I really loved doing was like finding the moments that I was like happiest around the year. And the goal, she said, is like, make sure you're doing more of that this year. So like if you have like locations that you're really happy, like go to those places. If there's like a lot of people that are like in your memories or like your happy times, like spend more time with those people. And same thing with like what you're doing. So I like wrote down so many things throughout and like kind of found different themes. Like a lot of it was like date nights or like experiencing new things with Joe. So I'm like, okay, like we can definitely plan more date nights and things together versus like, you know, just kind of doing it more randomly. And then the other one was like friend time. Like I just had so much fun with friends this year. And so I want to do more of that.
That's what I need to build on this year is more people that I'm happy with. Yeah. Because obviously you guys don't live here and don't want to come here often.
I do. So. Don't speak for me.
I've seen
you. You want to come there? Oh, you're coming next month.
Yeah, I'm literally see you in 3 weeks. But
I was thinking we could do a podcast only trip to Denver. It would be like 3 days. We could just record.
I'd go.
What do you mean?
Like where we would, it would just be like, it wouldn't be like a experiential trip. It would just be like a, like come in, like hang out for the day or like the evening, record all the next day, and then like leave the next day.
Oh, just like a 2-day thing. I'm down.
Well, I'm coming to visit Paige at some point, so we could like plan around that.
Yeah, let me know when you're doing that.
Well, you guys are the ones who are busy with your schedule.
I'm not.
Maggie, you will be. Like, guaranteed.
Things just pop up.
You're going to have like 30 things on your schedule.
But I really, like, nobody's getting married this year that I know of.
Well, you have all the babies.
I do have babies, but like, yeah, I don't know. That is, though, something of reflecting, like you're saying last year. I had so much friend time and so much family time and like realized how much that brings me happiness. So I do want to like focus on that more.
Wait, Maggie, what's your word before we like get off track?
Oh, my word is delusion.
I like that.
Because I feel as though I used to be extremely delusional and like I have all of these big dreams and I still do have them, but like for some reason the last few years, it's been like, no, that can't happen. Yes. And like it's just my mind telling me that it can't. So instead of, I'm not like setting all these like giant goals or anything, but I just want to be more delusional of like, these things can happen. I can of course make these things happen. And like bigger goals of opening like my dog bar and writing a book and like all of those things. I like, first of all, ChatGPT is so helpful with shit like this. Like I literally was like, help me make like a business plan. Like, cause it's just been so, it's such a large idea of like renting a space and making an actual business, and like that's such a huge thing where I'm like, I have
some
no
people
idea.
just do that. Like, the boho and Bart girl.
Yeah.
She has that mind where she's like, I want to do this, and then she becomes obsessed and she just does it.
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy. You have to be that way in order to get shit done.
And I used to be that way, so I don't know what stopped that. But it's like, so I'd use ChatGPT to like help me.
A Chat G.
My Chat G. My G. But it like fully like helped with business planning and like fully like these are the steps that you need to take to actually do it. And it helped break it down in my mind. And then like with writing a book, I've already like, I always write all the time, so like I put that in, and I was like, okay, help me think of like scenarios that this book could follow. I've my whole life I've always done that, but like it's not, I always start books and write like several chapters, but I never like complete anything. It's always like
computer?
Ideas. No,
like how I started a Daisy Billy fanfic.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
But it helped me like put it together, like make it just possible in my mind, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. When I was like deciding what my word was, one of my things was like just dreaming, because I think that like like we were talking about, there's like, I don't know, sometimes this is where I get in the weeds and like not overwhelmed, but I just like overthink it. I'm like, oh, like I can't put this down as my goal because it's going to be like impossible. It feels impossible to accomplish it this year, but I'm like, why the fuck not? Like, and
that's why.
And like Devon said, doesn't need to be this year.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. I think I'm gonna like make a Delulu list. I'm gonna like,
oh my god,
down.
Yes, everybody should do that. A Delulu list.
Yeah, I love it, and I think it can be like what you're saying, Devon. Like, it doesn't, because obviously not everyone has their own business and stuff and is like having the same goals that we would have. I think it also has to do a lot with your personal life of like, I envision myself riding the bike around my neighborhood and like having these fun times, but not taking action on those things. It's like, okay, you can be delusional and like, why can't you just go get a bike and ride around your neighborhood? There's so many things like that I want to do, like that I envision my daily life. Like, why don't I go take the dogs on like a bigger hike at least once a week? There's literally no reason. Like, I'm just not taking that action.
You freaking live in Portland.
I know, it's so crazy.
You should be taking them to the waterfalls and shit.
But, last night I was telling Cameron, because I was like, I need to take a shower, fuck. Like, and I was like not wanting to. And he was like, I don't understand girls. Like, you don't have to take a shower right now. You can just go to bed. And I was like, I mean, that is true. And he's like, you say you have to tan, you have to do this, blah, 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 but you don't actually have to. And I was like, yeah, but like, I know that my future self would be way happier if I take this and do this action now than I would be if I waited and postponed. So like, I have to for my future self. And I found that interesting that I was saying that about like showering and tanning and whatnot.
Yeah.
When like that applies to so many things.
We need like a bigger positive proof list.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's something I want to like keep track of more this year is like for example, I want a cold plunge so badly. And like, granted, I don't have a like fancy like machine cold plunge, but I have a fucking cold plunge now. Like,
you're a cold plunger.
And I wanted to do like contrast therapy. So like my dad giving me a hot tub randomly and then having this like cold plunge. I'm like, it's manifested and it could be manifested further. And there's like just a lot more things like that where I'm like, I've already fucking made this happen. Like one of my things is I was like, I want to be paid to go to Aspen. Like I want to go to Aspen for free. And I've been to Aspen like 3 times for free now. Like,
sick.
That's insane.
That's kind of how I feel about my car crash last year, because I put a new car on my vision board, but I was like, I know I'm not going to sell this car that I have.
That's fucking freaky. I don't like that.
I know. I remember when we said that, because I remember how much you wanted that new car. I was like,
you did.
The universe is kind of fun.
I just needed to get rid of my old car. Like, it
also,
was just
the same thing with our crash. Like, this is more fucked up because we like fucking love the Jeep, but we've been talking about wanting a truck for like a long time.
Yeah.
No,
that's horrible though.
So scary. It's like, oh, is that how I manifested this car?
It is weird, like when because you never realize, oh, everything happens for a reason until you're past it, and then you're like, oh, holy shit, that like really did happen for a reason. That's so crazy. But yeah, also on that, like I want to just say yes to things more often, like yes to opportunities, yes to going out, yes
Me
to
too.
being more social, yes to everything. Because once again, I know that it does make myself happy when I am social. I just like don't want to do it beforehand whatsoever. But afterwards, I am happy.
You know what? I have this like cloud over saying yes to social things because a lot of times, if I finally decide to like go to this event where I'm going to meet new people, I get it in my head like, oh, I'm going to meet my new best friend at this party or whatever. I'm going to meet, someone that I fall in love with or something. And then I go and it's really uneventful and I don't really vibe with anyone. And then I'm like, that was such a waste of time. So a lot of times I'm like, also, I just don't do it enough. So that one time that I go, I'm like, oh, I'm going to meet my new best friend. And then I don't. And then I'm like, I shouldn't keep doing this because it's a waste of time.
Yeah. And that's like the positive proof thing. If like every time you go out, it's not the greatest experience. And you're like, well, why am I going to keep going out?
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I feel like if you had like, I don't know, it's
you
hard.
Like this, would it just be like more like I'm open to like whatever possibilities are like in this opportunity?
Yeah, like
or
no
I'm, like
expectations,
open to whatever
but I'm open.
opportunities like happen, because I feel like that's like something where you're like, if you go in and you're like closed off and you like have that energy, or like you are only looking for your best friend, you're probably like closing yourself off to other things that might be like there for you.
The person who introduces you to your best friend.
It's just having high expectations when they shouldn't be. Like, when you go on a first date and you're like, oh my God, this could be my husband or whatever, and then you can't help but have those little thoughts while you're driving in your car and like zoning out and just thinking about ridiculous things.
Yeah.
So do you guys have like specific areas? Like how did you kind of do? I like mapped mine into like areas of like
so
goals.
Did I. Let me see.
I have
a vision board.
Relationships, work, fitness and fuel, recovery and reflection, travel, finances.
I mostly have like ones around delusion, but then I also have my Google Doc that I made of like by the year things I want to do.
I have like health, business, and then fun is all the other side. Like, well, home and like trips and hobbies and stuff.
Love that. I think one of my major things is like, okay, well, first of all, there was this astrology expert on Alex Earl's podcast. Did you see that?
I didn't see it. I saw the episode though.
It was pretty interesting, but then it got me into looking at my birth chart and stuff. Once again, ChatGPT was really helpful for
this.
Do
you pay for that?
No, absolutely not. Cameron does. I do not. We have separate accounts though. But you're still allowed to ask like a lot of things per day. You just get like a limit, I think. I'm not sure.
I think you get like 5 questions or something.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently I haven't asked up to 5. I try to include as much as possible.
Yeah, I know. That's so smart.
Yeah.
Because I'm over here like, okay, refine this. Like, make it even better. It's like, okay, you're done. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like rude. I put so much in the first part. But it basically said too that it's like part of my personality that I'll not always feel like lost, but kind of always want to be doing different things and not necessarily have like the direct path of the general things that I want to do in life and like help people and whatnot and animals.
Are you a manifesting generator?
I have no fucking idea. I've never done that test. We've been waiting to do that episode for like 3 years.
I think you should just do it.
Okay. I should do it. But it made me feel better knowing that the stars say that. Maybe I'm just always a little lost, and that's like I always felt growing up that like something would click one day and that I would just my brain would be like normal like everyone else or something. And I think just knowing that that's not going to happen is helpful in general.
A little reframe on that is with like manifesting generators, it's that you just get excited by a lot of things and you're better at like short sprints of things. Like you're better at like focusing on your napkins, or like you're better at focusing on like your wedding. And then there's a new season with new like ideas or opportunities or things that excite you. And it's just this constant like basically you're manifesting new things and new ideas and like
sounds
new
as though
exciting
I'm a
things for
manifestation
yourself.
generator.
Yeah, versus like, because I feel like maybe feeling lost, like I don't know like how that felt to you, like to read that or whatever, but I feel like the flip side of that to be like, no, just a lot of things excite you and you're constantly like going to be interested in new things and like new ideas, and
yeah,
you
and
can
like
find a way to like make that work for you.
Yeah, and that is exciting too, because I genuinely never have that. Like when people are like, "I don't have ideas," or like whatever,
You have
I
a
never
million.
have experienced that problem in my life. Like
Yeah.
I've never once experienced that problem. I have like
Yeah.
1,000 bajillion ideas. But something I think can help me within that is I do want to have more like routine and structure in my life, and I don't know necessarily that might mean getting a job, like another job, or like some form of structure. Or it might not mean that, and it might mean just like implementing structure within my own day, because even things like my membership or the podcast or whatever gives me that structure that I really like, and that makes me complete the things that I need to do. Like I don't know what makes it different of with the podcast. I like do the things, but if it's like something that I don't have to do, then I don't. So I want to have more structure around that.
If you got like an assistant to just like help with your ideas,
like an assistant to be a boss, really.
Yeah, basically to like manage
what
you and your schedule and like all of your ideas and things.
Yeah, no,
like
really.
basically a project manager who like you can be dreaming and they can be like implementing. So maybe not even an assistant, just like a project person.
Yeah, I think that I feel more like, I feel like last year we probably would have had this conversation and I would be like, I don't know if I can do that and blah blah blah, but right now I'm feeling more motivated and like delusional about it.
But the other thing too, I think that like you just work better on like someone else's deadline.
Yeah.
So having an assistant or project manager be like, you need to complete this by Tuesday.
Yeah. Like if I have a brand deal or something, I would never be late or anything like that. Like I just
but
need
how can you make more like brand deals or
exactly
like, things in your life where it's like real deadlines?
And especially with pitching, I think that's such a huge thing of like you have to.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, with pitching I would just put it off for months.
Yeah.
Literally.
And you
so
think
bad.
sometimes it's like magically gonna happen. like oh, they'll just magically come into my email somehow.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, true. Okay, do one of you want to say one and we'll go back and forth?
Yeah. One of my main focuses this year is like pouring into my friendships and my family. And that looks like planning the trips with them in advance, like so just on the calendar, saying yes to more like hangouts or like just planning more like time with my friends here, especially like because we've done like monthly dinners with like the girls I work out with. And then like we kind of talk sometimes about like, okay, let's go like do the simulator golf or like let's go do these things. But I think like if I want them to happen, I need to like put them out there versus just like waiting for other people to like make the plan and saying yes to it. And then a lot more like phone calls and like check-in texts. They don't have to be like everyday texting because I think that just like overwhelms me. Like you're the only people I talk to like on a pretty much daily basis. But other people, like I can definitely do a better job of just like phone calls and just a hey, how's it going text or like voice note type of thing. But I want to make that like a very like big priority because I feel like I've said it in the past, but like it hasn't been like as much of a focus. And I'm like,
do you feel like, are any of your friends or family or anything like, have they expressed to you that you haven't been doing that, or like is it more just a feeling that you have where you're wanting it more?
I feel like because I saw a lot of my friends like last year like multiple times, it was like a big like I don't know,
like a gap, like it's like
a big gap of like, oh, like we don't talk that often, so like every like, you know, like one of my like best girlfriends from high school, we like saw each other 3 different times last year, and I was like, holy shit, like this is so special and incredible. And like I loved being able to catch up with them, and you know, it's kind of like every few months we were like seeing what was new. And I was like, I can fucking do this on a regular basis. Like I don't have to wait until we're in person, because I don't think we're gonna see each other like 3 times next year. Maybe we will, I don't know. But I'm like, I can be more intentional about like catching up with them. So I think that was kind of like a big like aha moment of like, oh, I can have this like all the time. It doesn't have to be I don't know. And I also think with one of my friends, I'm like not very vulnerable with her, like, and I have been vulnerable in the past, but I'm like, for some reason I catch myself like steering the conversation away from myself and not telling her as much about like my feelings and things I'm doing. So I'm like, I can be better about like being more vulnerable and like open.
Like a high school friend or
one of my college girlfriends. Yeah.
Has that been specific with her? Or
yeah. I don't know. I guess like I don't know. Sometimes like with some people I'm like, oh yeah, like let me just talk about myself. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But with her, like I just find myself being like, oh, like I am just not being as open. Like why is
like surface level?
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's because it's like we're catching up over like just kind of like moments versus like if we talked weekly, which like she's so good about calling me and everything, that like if we actually talked more like weekly or every other week, then I feel like I could talk to her like a lot more about like, oh, this week was really fucking shitty or whatever.
That's so true. Because like I hate when like I haven't talked to somebody in a long time and then it's like if I feel like I missed something, like they say something new in their life and I'm like, how did I not know that? Like I feel so bad that I didn't ask about that or like.
Yeah.
I saw this TikTok that was like, this is why you shouldn't catch up with your friends that you don't see often when you hang out, because you're just wasting time catching them up every time on what has happened, and you aren't like living in the moment and creating new memories and doing like talking about, you know, things that are actually happening or whatever. I don't know. It was a controversial take, but it was interesting.
It's an interesting take though, like where you're kind of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't need to like update every little thing and more like talk about, because I'm always like, you know, I forgot, it's like I think it's an Eleanor Roosevelt quote of like, you know, you talk about like you can talk about people and things, but I like to talk about more like ideas and like life things versus just, you know, topical things.
Yeah, that is so hard. I experience that a lot with long distance friendships of trying to catch up like that. Yeah.
One of my goals, we'll see if it happens, but I would really like to travel by myself and like do a little solo trip.
Even without Willow or with Willow?
Yeah, without Willow. She's too much work.
Wow. Do you have any ideas?
I just want to go somewhere that's like easy and that I could just stay at a hotel that everything is within walking distance. And
oh my God, you should do like a resort.
I know. I was just gonna say that.
Like a beachy type resort.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I know Britt doesn't like the all-inclusives, but I was a big fan.
But they have your food. They have your food groups.
That's so factual. That's so
they can really do up a mean quesadilla.
No, the best quesadillas.
And the chicken fingers.
Really good.
They had bean burritos. They had Italian. They had some spaghetti. Delish. We're actually trying to plan Aaron's 30th birthday this next December, so like we're trying to do a big friend group trip and do like an all-inclusive.
Is Aaron a year older than Cam?
Yes, but they're in the same grade. Cameron's he's a July baby, so it's like one of those things where you decide to either wait a year or not.
Yeah. What's another one of yours, Maggie?
Hold on, let me look at my list. Well, a big thing of like just actually happening is definitely finishing our house, like decorating. Like I am back in house mode and I want it to feel like a home, because I think with Cameron also getting his promotion, it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna be here probably at least a year or two. So might as well like actually make it a home. I think for a minute there I was like, wait, are we going to Arizona? Like we're leaving. And we were kind of like, we don't like our house, but now I'm like, okay, we need to make it into a home. And I'm very excited about that because the living room already feels like so much fucking better. It's crazy.
Do you have anything else to do in your office? I feel like your office you put so much into.
I have to put pictures in these frames.
Oh, they're not actually pictures that you want?
No. These are from the wedding. That's the wedding sign. That's from the thrift store. This is my old Harry Styles one. This I will change it, but I do love him.
I finally saw that movie about Harry Styles. I really loved
Which one?
it.
There's several.
Really cute.
Oh, with Anne Hathaway?
Oh,
Yeah.
I do. That's so funny.
I was like, this is the perfect cheesy movie, and I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
It was so good.
The book
and the
was
chemistry
worse,
was really good.
Like, the book was horrible. The movie was pretty good.
I think the movie was really good, and I didn't like know very much about it. I was just like, I'm gonna go for this, and it was like the perfect thing for me.
There's this girl who still like loves the fake band from that movie. She's like August Moon. She just listens. It was like on Spotify Wrapped, like #1.
I know how that feels.
Yeah, you do.
That's so funny.
That's so funny.
In my recovery and reflection, I want to just be way more intentional about like doing my cold plunge and hot tub, because that's like, those are, I feel like I really need like active signals to my brain to like chill the fuck out. And so like being in the hot tub, doing the cold plunge is really good. Reading is one of those things. Journaling. I'm going to sign up for therapy. Even if I only do 12 sessions this year.
Me too. A therapist.
Same.
I reached out to so many, and one has emailed me back.
Wow.
And she said, I maybe don't have room. I was like, okay.
I feel very like grateful that Joe has been through the experience like with a few different people this year.
Yeah.
And like knowing that it's okay, like if the first person is like not it, and like there's going to be something that I can take away from the conversations. But
do you want to do it in person?
No, just virtual, because I know like that'll be easier for me.
It'll be way easier to find is the thing like that I'm
Yeah.
thinking, which I want to go in person, but there's just way more options obviously if it's virtual.
Yeah. And then like a tangible thing is like on the Oura ring, like hitting the steps, and then also just like moving every hour, I think is also really good for my brain, because I've gotten like stuck in like the chair before and just zoned in, which is great, but at the same time it's not that productive. Like I can be way more productive if I like take more breaks and like move around and move my body. And like,
do you have a walking pad?
I do. I use it off and on, but I think like I didn't put that in my goal right now. It's more that I just want to like take a mental break like every hour and really like make sure that I'm not, because I think it's also helpful like when you're in a deep work session, like I could be more productive, I think, if I'm like taking those mini breaks and like checking in with myself and taking care of myself with like eating. Like,
definitely.
Sometimes I'll sit there for like 4 or 5 hours and then I'm like not eating and not drinking. I'm like just like, what the hell? And I'm like starving after. So
honestly, 5 minutes ago I was starting to get tired, and then I got up to let my cat in, and now I'm like, okay, I feel better now. Like
that's
I just needed to get up
accurate
and move for a second.
Yeah. I think
especially
because
now I'm on a couch, like so cozy.
Yeah, that is cozy. That was funny when we shared the Oura ring thing, and you were like, "Yeah, mine said that you were relaxed starting the Patreon episode too." But I was thinking you were slunged at that point. You were laying down.
It's so interesting that just talking is so good for your stress levels. Like just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a
imagine
great
what
sign
therapy
that
would
says,
do.
Yeah.
Well, that's a high pressure chat. I feel. I mean, it's more like I probably would get anxious during the actual chat.
I also want to try and make it to strong and exceptional on the Oura chart.
Wait, what is that category?
If you go to
it's like your
my health on the right side.
Mine is optimal. Your readiness score.
No, it's not that. It's
the resilience.
Yeah, resilience.
I don't have that one yet.
Me either.
Yeah,
I need 2 weeks.
No, you do have it, Dove. It's on my health. On this side, at the bottom.
Your resilience is solid. Whatever.
What was your resilience when your family was here? But look, this is like when I went on vacation.
Is that stress going up?
No, it's like you're improving your body and mind and mood.
Oh.
But I was like hanging out
Holy
down
shit.
here. I was like, wait, where am I?
Oh, that's crazy.
I like dipped in.
Make sure you're watching our YouTube if you'd like to see.
Mine has been solid except for on December 30th. It was adequate.
Well,
that's so interesting. I'm excited to see mine. I don't really understand, though, honestly, like how when you're working all day, can you have those moments of, what is it called, restorative or whatever, like the lowest stress? How can you have that? Because like they say like engaged when you're working, or it could be stressed or something. So like, are you supposed to go like on your lunch break, get to down? Is that normal?
I think literally taking 5 minutes to just close your eyes and breathe will bring it down.
Okay.
Yeah. It also, I think it's helpful too if you properly track, like if you're working out or you're like doing something, so then it tracks it as exercise or like the activity versus actual stress in your body.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm excited to see. Like, I feel like this will be really good for the year of like learning myself and learning our bodies and like stress and everything and what makes me stressed out and limiting that.
Do you have your chronotype yet?
Where's that?
Mine pisses me off because it won't change.
Calibrating.
Your chronotype is like when you're when you should sleep. Yeah, when you should, like the time of day that you
what
sleep.
Does it say
like
for
if you
you?
rise with the sun, or if you like to sleep in longer, and then it also tells you kind of when you're most productive during the day.
What does it say for you?
Where do you find that at? They change this
under my
app all the
health at
time.
the
It's under
bottom.
body clock.
Oh, mine's under my health.
Oh, mine is also under my health. What is yours, Maggie?
Oh,
I don't have it yet.
Evening type.
Calibrating. Early evening. Oh, that's interesting.
Evening types tend to be innovative.
Mm.
But it tells me like that I should sleep from 12 a.m. to 8:30.
That's
bitch. I am asleep.
I feel.
I'm asleep by 10.
Seriously?
But you need to sleep till like 8 or 8:30. I feel.
I thought you were like you went to bed at like 11.
No, if I go to bed at 11, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going to bed so late.
But do you still sleep till like 8:30?
When I'm on a good schedule, I wake up at 7:30. I go to bed at 10, wake up at 7:30. And I was doing that really well until December, because when my cousin was here, she stays up until like at least midnight. So I was staying up with her.
Ugh, yeah.
But I'm like, for the past 4 months, I've been doing that schedule. I guess my Aura ring sees through the bullshit. They're like, no, that's not what you should be doing.
That's not good.
Like, maybe it's can't you just adjust and tell me that I'm doing it right, please? Because I like being on that schedule.
Yeah, mine is the winter fucks me up, because like when it's still dark at 7:30, literally into 8, I'm like, I don't want to get up. Like I look outside and it's dark.
Yeah.
The only way I like get up is because of my workouts.
Yeah, that's
Are you working out every day typically?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Sometimes I sleep in until like 7. Like, but my body like really won't let me sleep in much past that.
Yeah.
If you do want to have a baby, at least you'll be ready for that, because that's what parents be saying. I slept until 7.
I know. It is
wow.
It's so goofy though, because I literally can't like change it. So I'm like, well, and the days that I do have like a later workout at like 8 or something, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna sleep in until like 7:30, and then my body's like, just kidding.
It's crazy how
get up.
Stress impacts you so much. Like if I am stressed, even if I don't realize that I'm stressed, I will wake up at 7 and there's no way in hell I'm falling back asleep. Yeah. But then like this morning I slept in and I was like, I couldn't get myself to get up. Like I dragged myself out of bed because it was 9 o'clock or something. I was like, I need to get up, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, same.
I honestly like being stressed in the morning. It's so much easier to wake up.
Yeah, it does feel nice to like have something to go to. To do. I do also want to like really take more intentional resting time, and like knowing that does help me in the long run like a lot, because I think last year it was like weird because I like worked the least amount, but I think I was saying I was resting, but I had zero fucking downtime.
No.
That like once I was sick and I had pneumonia and I actually rested, like I genuinely don't know when I've done that in like years and years, because if I'm like, oh, I don't feel good today or whatever, like I really need to rest. I need to not do my emails, but then I'm like up vacuuming. Like that's harder on my body than if I sat on the couch and did fucking emails.
Yeah.
So like
Sometimes
I think that
it's
intentional
resting your
rest.
brain though.
Yeah, no, that's true. So that's why I want to like also be like, okay, because that's something I would do a lot is be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna work on the couch today and like still be editing for fucking like 9 hours, and then your brain's exhausted, and I'm like, but I was resting, but like I was not actually resting.
I agree.
It's that mental, like, am I being productive enough? Am I doing enough every day?
And like editing, especially, like it is so productive, but it's one of the things that doesn't feel productive for some reason.
Yeah,
so
especially because if it's on your phone, like, and it's adding to your fucking screen time. Like, that's so annoying.
I like it at least when it says creativity. I'm like, okay.
I spent 5 hours being creative today.
Yeah.
That should be Instagram too.
I
being
know.
Creative.
TikTok too. Inspo.
One of my goals is I need to go on at least one date. That's like setting the bar very low, but I need to like go on a date.
That's a crazy goal. That's great though.
I like that.
Do you think by putting it like kind of what you were just saying, like, okay, by the end of the year I will go on one date, or are you gonna wait till December?
Oh, I do have no, I have pictures on my vision board of hands being held.
Intimate.
I'll hold your hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, that will just be us in a few weeks.
Yeah. Oh, I have a picture of New York City too.
Ooh, love that. I think I want to go to Canada this year in the summer.
Oh yeah, you should.
I was trying. Yeah, I wanted to go to Vancouver, and I wanted to get like a collab. I definitely want to work with more hotels this year and maybe be paid for it, because I've never actually been paid, but I've gotten a lot of free stays. So I would like to get more free stays and also maybe be paid. But I was trying to get that for Vancouver. But when my dad's coming to stay with me to do work on our house in May, my brother is saying that he's probably going to fly down for the second week. And then he was like, we should go to Canada for that whole week. So I might do that. That would be fun.
Oh, I want to go to Canada. Actually, my uncle who lives in Maine is getting married this year, I think. So I think we might be going to Maine, which is
that's like a dream.
God,
we've talked about that for years.
Exciting.
Yeah.
When would you
make it a trip out of it? In August, I think.
Wow. Would you want to do New York in the like Christmas time, or just?
I personally would rather go to New York when it's not freezing outside. Because I went in March one time and like I could barely handle being outside.
Dude, like, same. I went for spring break and it was like the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
It was so freezing.
The coldest I've ever been.
Did not enjoy, but it would be so beautiful at Christmas. But it also looks so crazy busy where like I wouldn't enjoy that.
And it's like I don't go to New York often enough to justify a Christmas trip. Like if I'm gonna go, I'd rather go when I can sit in Central Park and like.
Could there maybe be a work opportunity in which you could go to New York?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I think we should do
some kind of work opportunity or something.
I like kind of want to go to LA for work, but I've heard that people are so fucking flaky with your meetings and stuff that I'm like,
really? Like where you fly in and then they like cancel?
Yeah, I've heard that that's a thing. Like, and I would not want that to happen. But
I would love to do a trip to LA too, because I never do.
Yeah,
and I think it'd be fun to like.
I mean, I wish we were like podcasters where it's like, oh, let's all go to LA and meet up with these other podcasters and all collab.
Yeah.
Maybe in time.
Well, who can we pitch to swap podcasts?
Once again, it is kind of hard with 3 people to do podcast swaps.
But like 1 to 2 people, I think is fine.
Yeah.
What's another one for you, Maggie?
Oh, well, I was just gonna say to people, like, I have a friend currently who's very like feels as though they're kind of like starting over from the beginning of where they are and like haven't made much progress in their self-growth and everything. And I just think it's interesting and something that people can think about of like the way you see yourself just as versus other friends see you. Like I can so clearly look at her and be like, you are leaps and bounds ahead of where you were. Like, this isn't starting over. Like, you're still miles ahead of where you were, even though it feels like 2 steps back, sort of thing. So I think that is always a good thing in the new year, to like really not compare yourself to others and really focus on only comparing yourself to yourself, because it can be very hard. Even with, like, I compare myself to you guys and I don't like that. I need to not compare to other people.
Yeah. It is easier for us as people who are like documenting our lives to go back a year ago and see how much we've changed, because we have like physical like video, audio evidence. And so,
but
like,
you
for
could
me, it's
even
obviously easy to be like, oh, look at how much better I got at doing this, or look at how my mindset has changed from this.
Yeah.
For normal people, it's.
But I guess
this
journaling, like journaling,
yeah, you
helps
should
a
journal,
lot.
because then when you go back and read what your mindset was a year ago, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe I even thought that, or like, you know, I've changed my mindset so much.
Yeah. Or like Brittany said, even just going through your camera roll, like you're kind of like, oh, holy shit, I didn't even realize all this stuff I did, or like that I was happiest in these times and whatnot. Like, it's kind of crazy to look back, but maybe not everyone's taking hella pictures and videos.
Yeah. But I didn't even really post that much this year, and I still took like a ton of videos.
Yeah.
And like I had so much stuff that like it just jogged my memory, and I was like, wow, this was like
yeah, it's so cool to see.
Yeah. One of my other goals is like doing more monthly investing, and kind of like a big goal that I've been like just manifesting and thinking more is like working with Fisher. Like
love that. Maybe not this year.
What?
Maybe I don't know. It could be this year depending on the market and everything. Like,
do it.
I want to.
Well, wait till after February 14th so he can get the bigger commission.
Yes. Well, I promise it will be after. But yeah, I think just working on like those.
That's really good though. Like, it's so interesting, those statistics of like if you've invested like $1, how much ahead you are as to like the general American population is so crazy.
Yeah. The other thing too is that like I, you know, like what focus on like changes and grows and like moves the needle and everything. And I think finances and everything is just one of those things where I like check it when I like think about it, but I don't have like an active like system of like, oh, like let me just review my transactions. Like not even like, oh, why the fuck did you spend this? It's just like reviewing it to be more aware of what I'm spending.
So, or like, do you have somebody that like specifically does finance type things or not?
That's but that's like for the business versus like
your personal
like transactions and things that we're doing. So
I see.
I want to just be more aware of like what we're spending and like be more cognizant of it. So like having like a weekly check-in to be like, okay, what was spent this week? Because I've done that in the last like month or two, and it just makes me so much more aware of like, oh, why did I, you know, spend this much money? Even like if it's just like a few things, I'm like, did I really want that? Like, did I need that? Or kind of like just reassessing it. And so I think like being more intentional with that, because I'm intentional with so many other things, like even just like my monetary goals with the agency, like, and I'm like, okay, because I'm focusing on it, it's working. But I'm like, how can I expect things to work in my finances, like my personal finances, if I'm not actively looking at it?
Well, it can be so scary. Like people don't check their bank accounts in general because it's like, oh, what am I gonna see when I open it up?
That's why you need to look at it regularly so you're not surprised and you're not anxious about looking at it. I need to be better about putting into my high yield savings account this year, because last year I did not at all. But the year prior to that, I would put at least $1,000 or $5,000 every month. So I was like, very like, I need to reach a goal. I need to put every extra chunk of money I have, I'm putting it into my savings account. And last year I was just like, who cares? Like,
was it because you were making less or why?
I don't invest.
You have to. It's like,
I know, but I don't know how.
I just so many times that you basics or Cameron can, but like literally without doing anything this year. Let me just tell you.
Like Cameron just goes on my phone and sets it up in like 2 minutes, and he's like, "Okay, you're invested." Like you can open it like with Chase, like a JP Morgan, just
or I like Fidelity.
I have thing through Guideline, but I also didn't put any money in it.
Oh, that's a thing, Britt, that like now that we're married, I can only use JP Morgan.
$17,000 or $18,000 without doing anything.
What?
That's how much my account's made.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
So that's the power.
Yeah, it's insane.
Can't it go down too?
Sure.
Yes, but not when you're, it's always up. Like in the history of time, it's always up if you're like just in like the S&P 500s and like simple things and you're not doing
it
crazy
goes
like
up
day
and down.
trading.
It's like, it's not like a thing. It's like a.
Yeah. But like overall
right
in the scheme of life, it is up or like for the year.
I will put that on my thing is to talk to a financial advisor, aka Cam.
Great. I can be there to accompany you so you don't feel anxious. You can do it in February.
I appreciate that. Oh, okay.
If you'd like.
Yeah. That gives me a hard deadline.
True. Brittany, do you have Rocket Money?
More exciting. I do, but have I looked at it?
That's like so great though for like personal things of literally telling you like it sends me notifications like when we bought all the living room stuff, it was like you spent $3,000 and something more than last week. I was like, holy fuck.
My god, I had to turn those off.
But that's
it would
what
send me those things.
helps. Like
I'm like
seeing that.
You spent 1,000 more on food and dining this week than last week. Like, fuck.
Literally. But it is really cool to see and kind of makes you rethink your purchases and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which I love that girl Deeper Than Money. If you guys don't follow her,
yeah,
she's amazing. And I think she's such a good finance.
That's like one of those things though, like with her, I think that it's great to get people with high yield savings account, but that's like only 5%. And so I think that people that are starting to make a lot more, like getting them into bigger investments makes such a wild difference.
Yeah, no, definitely. She posts like her investments and how much they've grown and stuff.
But those investments, can you take the money out at any time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to save to buy my dream home, and my dream home is going to be over $1 million. So I need a lot of money for that.
But it's
which is why you need to start
there and it's making 2%.
Well, I have my high yield savings
jack shit. If you make 20% on on all of your money every single year, then like if say you have 100,000, that's like you make 120,000, and then the 120,000 you make 20% more. Just like compound.
That's like what Cameron's current job position is people call him and they're like, I need to take $100,000 out for my daughter's wedding, and he's like, okay, you only have this much left, like, are you sure you want to do that, blah blah blah, based on their age and everything. So like the younger you are, it's just like so much better to start, like even starting in your 40s is still way ahead of people.
Yeah, I guess I just always think that people are doing that for retirement.
Well, you should do it for retirement too, but
that's boring.
Yeah, I never understand what they say, like when they say that probably what is it called, Social Security will be gone by the time that we're old.
Yeah.
Do you hear people say that?
Yeah.
I don't really understand what that means.
It's the percentage of the money that you make goes to Social Security.
But why would it be?
Because there's too many old people.
Oh, that makes sense.
It also, I think, goes to disability too.
Because the old people are boomers, so that's like the biggest population, right? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I have one more tangible goal. I really want to get a partnership to redo my flooring. I want to redo my flooring, but I don't want to pay for it.
Love it.
So I would love to have a collaboration for that.
I have several emails saved from tile companies that I can send you that I tried talking to last year.
And they turned you down though?
Yeah, but you might not be turned down.
I have one company that could potentially do it. We have to see if they do it still.
There's a lot of good ones out there. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for your bathroom to be done.
Me too. I don't know when
these bitches coming.
Yeah, I need to email my manager.
Interesting. I also think that we have like big goals for the podcast this year. it feels as though maybe it's like becoming an official podcast in a sense. Like that's how I want it to feel in my brain. But that we have already planned several trips, and we're gonna upgrade our video and background and everything, and make the Patreon more fun. And I don't know, I feel like excited about all the podcast things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. I think adding video and like being able to hire someone to do all the clips and stuff will be.
Yes, we're also trying to hire somebody.
Yeah.
A big game changer.
Delegating that.
Yeah.
Is...
If you're an editor, email us. Maybe someone's listening.
Yeah.
sogladwerefriends@gmail.com. Any other ones? I think that's like my main. Is just like I just want to put myself out there, be delusional, have fun, do more while having structure.
I want to go to England.
Oh.
And maybe Paris and Scotland.
Loves that.
Wow.
I just need to book it.
That'll be so fun. Did I tell you guys I was so mad because I was like, my parents were going to go to Italy this year?
Yeah.
I told you that?
But you just said they were going to go to Italy. I don't know what
Oh, I forgot that the Jubilee is in Italy this year, which they were like preparing for when we were there, but it's like every 25 years only.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe every 50 years or 100 years even. But it's like there's millions and millions more tourists that come. Like a lot is closed off. Like it's not the time to go unless you're going for that.
No.
So they're not going to go. So I feel so sad. So I'm going to try to plan them like more of a tropical resort type thing for them to do. Because it's their 10-year wedding anniversary this year.
Would you ever become a travel advisor?
I would love to. I'd love to be a wedding planner, travel.
All
like
the
a travel agent?
Yeah, that'd be so. That's what I do for other people. But this is what I mean. Like, there's too many fucking things.
But I think that's so exciting that there's so many things and like exciting things that make you.
It is fun because when I think, because like my main life goal, or like being a mom, really, like I imagine my life. Like if I picture my life at 35, I have like a little kid that I'm taking into my dog bar business. And there's like a bachelorette night or reality TV night that night. And I'm like setting up, having a coffee, talking to the employees, whatnot. But like I enjoy that all of these things really, I could hopefully watch a child while doing them. Or like I'm trying to set my life up, especially this year, to like start preparing for that, of like having a structure where I could involve a child.
Yeah.
Or Cameron might make a lot of money and then I'll be like, bye guys.
Okay, but wait, let's recap the advice. Everybody should make a Delulu list. I'm going to do that.
Delulu dream list.
I also love like Trisha for her manifestation. She has like a separate journal for like Delulu ideas manifestations versus like journaling her feelings, which I feel like I try to combine them. But maybe that would be better to like have a separate one where it's
I've tried having separate journals and I am so bad at like keeping them.
That's understandable.
I have like 5 journals that I've written 2 pages in. Like I need a different one.
I have like a code for myself where like if it's a big idea or like a light bulb moment, I like star it and like circle it. And then that's like easier. So if I like want to go back into my journal, I can like look for the stars and see.
That's cool. You could also get probably like those little tab things or something.
Yeah. But for just like less work.
Yeah.
I like just doing that. That's just me. I think reviewing like your like even if you don't do this full exercise, I feel like reviewing your happiest moments and like making sure you're doing more of that this year is a big idea.
And probably same of like review what's been stressing you out or causing
you sad. That was like the other thing. She's like, you can do the exact flip side. Like when were you like sad or like upset in moments and like where and doing and with and stuff.
Yeah. Bingo cards. That's fun.
I think finding your word or like your theme of the year is like a good like North Star like point to
I liked how I used Pinterest and just created a 2025 board and just started adding to it. And then that's when I was kind of like, okay, it seems like this is the vibe that I'm trying to go for this year. And then I picked the word based on how my vision board was feeling. And that's all you need to do for a vision board. is a Pinterest board. Like, you don't have to print things out or cut things out. And like, sometimes it's fun to do that, obviously, but if that overwhelms you, you don't have to do that.
I think
it to your home screen.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite things that Maggie, you should do a video on that and like show people how to do it.
Okay, I did it a few years ago, but yeah.
Well, you should do it like every year, just like show people how to do it, because it's like one of my favorite things to look at, and it's just like a little widget on your home screen that will change with your Pinterest board.
Yeah. Did you guys also see how to fix your photo album?
I haven't.
You know how it got like really.
I don't think.
Oh
like,
God.
you can.
Maybe you shouldn't. You can like basically change it back to how it looked before.
Yeah.
That was just stressful before I knew that you could change it.
I know.
I've gone on like it now, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I also think another thing I like doing is for like your vision board, if you have like things that have manifested or you want to like manifest more of the same thing, using your own pictures. I think like, I don't know, I really like that.
I love that
because
too.
I think it's like, just especially if you want more of the same thing, like,
yeah. And I think that goes to like also thinking about what you want and not what like you should want, or maybe what society is like wanting for you when you're planning out things, because that can be hard. You're like, oh, is this just a goal that I want or that everybody else my age is going for?
Yeah, that's fair. I still have to add more pictures.
I need to change mine so it's on 2024. And I want to take a lot of the 2024 ones and put it on 2025.
I know. I was doing the same thing. I was like, okay, but is there anything new that I want?
Yeah.
I got to move my Austin pics over to 2025.
And that's okay.
And that is okay. That is, yeah, that's like the best overall thing is like when you set goals and everything, just knowing it does not need to be done this month or this year.
Yeah. But getting like, because I think even if you're like, oh, I want to make like $1 million, and you like just get to like 300, you're like still like moving towards that target every year.
Yeah. Or like asking your boss for a raise by the end of the year. Something like that. Crazy. Any other wrap up?
Have fun with it.
Anything else? Yeah.
Okay, I felt like you were really recapping, Devin.
Well, did we? I can't remember what else we said.
I think that's basically it. Fell. Oh my God, that scared me.
That's how my last camera broke. Is it was on the tripod and the tripod fell and it just.
Oh my God!
You just bought a new camera, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or a new lens.
Camera. Whole new camera, but it records for hours.
Damn, that sucks so much. I need to get a new tripod. Like, it's too flimsy. It never is straight. I'm always trying to make it actually straight, and it's always just like slightly tilted. I'm like, oh my God.
That's what happened to mine too.
It's not fun. Yeah, I think it's the same one that you have, right?
It's like, why is it like this?
It's also so cute. My dad like asked for a link to my tripod because he wanted to have me on FaceTime at Christmas on the tripod.
Aww,
but they ended up putting me literally on the TV. It was the most embarrassing thing of my life. Like, I was broadcasted to the TV.
Oh my God. It's like, could you use a smaller TV? Oh, I got a literally TV.
You did?
But it's not it's not Samsung, it's TCL.
Oh. I didn't even know there was another brand.
I didn't either until I looked on Amazon and it was on sale for $600, and I was like, yes.
Is it the same where you have to like buy the frame separately?
Yeah. I think I don't know if it came with a basic frame. I haven't opened the box yet, but
did you just get it?
That's very exciting.
So excited.
Let me know how you like it. We're planning on getting some wood from Home Depot and spray painting that shit gold and putting it around our TV.
Yeah. I just like that it's like flat against the wall.
Well, we have like my dad, the fireplace thing. It has like an indent so it can kind of be more flush. So I'm hoping it will look fine.
That's really cool.
But it might look shitty. I also had the idea and I was like, I don't know if anyone's ever done this before, but I want to make a video on it. I kind of want to put a frame around like our Alexa, like around the Echo. Because we have the one with the screen. It's like, that'd be so cute.
That would be cute.
That would be cute. And then can you put it on the wall?
No. Well, if I like, we could like low-key do like a build out thing and like put it inside of the wall, but it can't like hang. Huh. It sits on a counter.
Is yours Google, Dev? I always forget.
Yeah.
That would be a good deal this year. That thing is in every video.
That would be a good one.
Okay, Patreon.
Ew, I just burped into the mic. So sorry.
I didn't hear it.
Well, thanks so much for listening. Please join our Patreon if you want bonus episodes. You gain access to like 50 plus episodes when you join. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put out video if you want to see what we're wearing. Devon's got a cute tank top on. Make sure you follow our Instagram and our TikTok, and we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.